summit is now unlikely. President Biden again warned that sanctions against Russia could have an impact on gas prices here at home, which are already high. President Biden pledges to use every tool at his administration's disposal to limit price hikes. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Deliberations are now underway in the federal trial of 3 ex-police officers in Minneapolis charged with violating George Floyd's civil rights. Alexander King, Thomas Lane, and Tu Chow are charged with depriving Floyd of his right to medical care.
News 10 NBC on the radio. Weekdays at 5 a.m., noon, 5, 6, and 11 on the WYSL stations.
Now, an hour of clarity for exhausted people of our nation mired in toxic partisanship. Left versus right. Us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
A Free Solution on WYSL. It is Craig Miles. I am in for Kevin Wilson today, broadcasting on this semi-dreary day, but there's some sunshine in the forecast. Maybe not actual sunshine, but some metaphorical sunshine, because we see a lot of things changing in our world, and change is good. Change is always good. I will say that, because it's always changing and it's always moving forward in a direction, and it's along the continuum. It's like when you pinch your fingers on the phone, right? And you're really close and you see this dip if you're looking at a chart and it looks horrible, but then you pinch your fingers out and you widen it out and you realize this dip is part of a larger trend. So this change that's happening right now, it may seem drastic to some people, or it may seem too slow to others. But it's just part of the whole continuum, and we're living in it, and all we can do is try to nudge it in the direction that we'd like. And that is the topic for today: infighting, outfighting, and freedom fighting. You got to fight for your right to party, to quote the Beastie Boys. If you see the link on the live stream on the internet, I paid homage to them. So, infighting, outfighting, and freedom fighting. Are they mutually exclusive? Do they work against each other? Can we work together? Or do we have to fight? And the answer is, as always, it depends. Because there is no one answer. There is no one way to attack something. And I came up with this. I didn't actually come up with this topic. My friend Nate called me yesterday, tuned into the show, and he says, hey, you got to listen to this episode of Tom Woods. And if you're a libertarian, you know and might care about who that is. If you're not a libertarian, you may not know and also may not care. But regardless, this was a good episode. And if you're interested and you're not familiar with Tom Woods, go and take a listen to him. He's got a lot of great points to make and doing a lot of things in the liberty movement. So one of his topics a couple weeks back that my friend Nate made me aware of was fighting back in blue cities. This specifically pertained to Los Angeles and mask and vax mandates. So I don't remember the name of the county that Los Angeles is in, but Orange County right next door has none of these mandates. And if you look at the curves for the number of cases of COVID and the peaks and the valleys in that, you cannot tell a difference. So you have these draconian measures where I believe you have to have a passport, a vax passport, to be able to go into anything other than a grocery store, a church, or there was one other thing. So basically you gotta be vaxxed, gotta have your vax for. Well, there's a lady who stood up and said, I'm going to file some paperwork here with the state and try to get this taken away. And she's gotten a ballot initiative going out there she's got to collect something like 100 and some odd thousand signatures. Don't quote me directly on that. If you want to see the Tom Woods episode, you can just check it out on Spotify or YouTube and get all of the details. But the point is, she's taken this matter into her own hands. One of the points that she made was there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, saying I'm angry, saying I'm mad, complaining on Facebook. But what are they doing? And to a certain extent, the saying I'm mad, the complaining, the yelling, the screaming, that is necessary. But that's not all that you need to do. And some people are really good at that, and that's what they do, and that is great. You also need people doing other things. And that's why I said there's no one way to fix any of these things that you see wrong with society. It takes a lot of different people doing a lot of different things in their specialized areas. And this lady's specialized area was in legislation. She's a lawyer. And in California, apparently, you are able to, by, the will of the people, you can get ballot initiatives on the ballot to vote on. So like that Proposition 2, 3, 4, whatever that's on the back of the ballot here in New York, they have that in California too. And apparently, as citizens of California, if you get enough people to petition, you can get those initiatives on there. I am not familiar enough with how the proposition situation works here in New York. If I had to guess, we probably don't have that because that would give too much power to people. I might be wrong. And if you know, please fill me in on how it's supposed to work. David, he's told me that Los Angeles is in Los Angeles County. Apparently, yeah, of course it is. So Orange County and Los Angeles County, two very different approaches to COVID, but with the same results. And I would suspect some happier people in Orange County than in Los Angeles County. So we've got this ballot initiative, and a lot of people are speaking out in support of it. You've got people on the left, people on the right saying, we're done with mandates. We don't need this. We're going to try to get this on the ballot. And if they do, then it goes either in the general election or they'll have a special election. They're not quite certain about how that's going to go yet. But it gets on the ballot. Californians can vote on it, and they can say, yes, we want mandates, or no, this mandate is repealed. And that's how it should be. And that's how it should have been in the first place. A lot of these actions, emergency powers were handed over to the head of the state, whatever that was, whether that was your county executive or your governor or the president. And the legislator just kind of sat back and said, yeah, you know what? You do what you got to do. Yeah, do what you got to do, I guess. And it's been going on for 2 years. So all of these measures, they should have been implemented through a legislative process instead of by a decree by some guy who thought he was more smart or more important than other people. Unfortunately, that's not how it happened. But with this ballot initiative in California, now the people are able maybe to push back a little bit. So that's good because that is outfighting and freedom fighting. You're fighting the outsiders, which is the ruling class. And that's the one that you should be fighting. The outfighting that is not necessarily productive is the gotta get them on Facebook. Gotta get the libs, gotta get the right, whatever it is. That's not productive. They aren't the real enemy. And that's not always the best use of time. Again, someone might respond to that. So maybe you need a little bit of outfighting, maybe a little bit of back and forth, and that's healthy. We need to be aware of how much we're swinging in one direction or the other, though. So outfighting, need a little bit of it. Maybe don't hate your neighbor because he doesn't have the same political beliefs as you. Infighting, definitely don't do that unless it is based on. So quick inside baseball here for the Libertarian Party. We have principles that are on the website, and a lot of libertarians spend a lot of their time looking at those principles and arguing over them, and that's all they do. And again, that's not productive. Okay, cool. I won in my little Libertarian Party. I showed them, and Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo and Uncle Joe are still ruling my life. So how productive is it actually? Again, it's a discussion that needs to happen. You need to stand for the principles that you believe in, and you need to try to take extra action to put those policies into place or move things in the direction of those policies, because just talking about it is not enough. Be about it. It's your right to party. You got to defend it. So fight the up outside and not the left or right outside. And definitely don't waste all of your time fighting with yourselves, because there's enough people out there that want to fight with you anyway. And this goes for any organization. I think you see it with Black Lives Matter. I think actually the Freedom Truckers seem to have done really good at this. They were united under one purpose, and people said, hey, don't be violent, because they're going to say we're all violent and it's going to, make our cause look not good. So don't do that. And everybody said, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. They showed some unity, which is exactly what they needed to do, because they got a reaction out of Justin Trudeau. And I think he's in trouble. I don't know if his downfall will come soon or if it'll come later, but he has taken this group of nonviolent protesters and he has lambasted them. He has bashed them, and they let it roll right off of them. And then they got towed. And I was watching, I saw a screen capture of folks in Ottawa that they were saying, don't tell me when you don't live in Ottawa how hard it was to get around with those truckers. I could walk everywhere when the trucks were parked there. Now that they towed the trucks out, now I have a cop asking me for my papers on the corner every street that I want to go to. And we're keeping an eye on everybody, making sure they're doing the right thing. And now I can't do anything without someone breathing down my neck. So can I have the truckers back, please? And I think this is a point that applies to all government actions. You say, yeah, get those truckers out of there. Or maybe you're just indifferent. You're like, whatever, I don't care if they take the truckers out. And then the government clamps down. And then you say, oh, wait a minute. This is a pain. This is a real pain. We saw it with COVID, right? From March of 2020 on until today. People standing by and not speaking up. So speak up. Speak up and take action. And we'll talk more about that after the break. My name is Craig Miles on WYSL, WACK Newark. A free solution. Give me a call. Hit me up in the chat. It's going to be a good discussion today. I'm looking forward to it.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly.
Yeah, when we come back, I'm going to play an oldie but goodie Cuomo clip having to do with his COVID mandates.
Your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Oh, those injury attorney ads.
Hurt on your couch? Call 555-OUCH.
It's kind of cute watching that injury attorney buying breakfast for a crash test dummy, but while fun is fun, there's nothing amusing about getting your life back together after a personal injury or a motorcycle accident, or when you need defense for a DWI charge. Christopher Johnson takes your case seriously, and you'll feel like you're his only client because when you meet with him, your case gets 100% of his attention. So instead of cute singing jingles and magic phone numbers,
Fall out of a tree? Call 33333.
Write this number down and keep it with you. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. After all, Christopher Johnson knows you're no dummy. Get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. Put the power of one on your legal team. 415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson, attorney, personal injury, car or motorcycle accidents, DWI defense.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We could give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com, the official Mount Worstmore line of merchandise. Top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who's front and center up on that mountain, and we think you'll recognize the other three. Mount Worstmore items make perfect gifts. They're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Mount Worstmore, locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
A free solution.
If you are upset by what we have done,
Hold on.
be upset at me. County executive did not do this.
Hold on.
The village mayor did not do this. The city mayor did not make these decisions. I made these decisions. It's not your local elected official. I know they caused disruption. I know people are upset. I know businesses will be hurt by this.
And I don't care. That is what he's saying. I know people are going to be hurt by this, but I love you, and it's for your own good. That is our former emperor, Andrew Cuomo. Spoke over him a little bit there at the beginning. Had some technical difficulties. I apologize. But the good news is he's gone now. And it wasn't the mandates that brought him down. It was something else. But he's gone. So that's good. And maybe Trudeau's going to be gone. And that would also be good. And we can't expect anybody to stop doing what they're doing unless we let them know that we don't like what they're doing. And with King Andrew, a lot of people said, I don't like what you're doing. And he said, too bad. I have my iron fist. But no matter how hard he squeezed, he couldn't contain it all. Something finally got out. And then that's when the empire fell. His empire. And then Kathy came in and said, I kind of like this empire, and picked it right back up. And here we are. So, did it change? Didn't it change? Maybe not so much. Which is why it's so important to keep fighting the fight, to keep talking about the issues and trying to take action where you can take action. Because if one dictator falls and you haven't changed the system at all, new dictator steps right in there, says, I kind of like this system, works for me. All right. New boss, the same as the old boss. Every 8 years, vote left, vote right, and we go to war with Russia. We have hyperinflation. We keep on keeping on, and it doesn't really matter who is steering the ship, because the ship doesn't go where the president says the ship goes. The ship goes forward, no matter what. And the left might, they might move the rudder a little bit left. The right might move the rudder a little bit right. And I think it's a good analogy, because with ships or boats, it takes a minute, right, to change course, to correct course. And oftentimes you have an opposite course correction just when we were starting to get on the other track. So the left does something good, but the right gets in power and says, yeah, I know this is good, but the Democrats did it, so it's gone. Same thing the other way, back and forth. And we lose sight of actually making real change, good change, and it doesn't help. So you need to pick a direction that is not with the establishment. And then you got to push on that boat. You got to push on that bow. Push, 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 push. And sometimes all it takes is a little flick. Those truckers had an idea in their head. And they went up there and they parked in Ottawa for 3 weeks. After 2 years of this stuff, parked up there for 3 weeks. And everybody's talking about them now. The mandates are gone. Yes, they were towed. Yes, it is a police state up there now. But perhaps it's just a last gasp, a last desperate cling to power. At least that's what we can hope. And that's often what happens. They ignore you, they lambast you, and then they lose to you. So I think we're in the lambasting stage now. And specifically in Ottawa, things are getting a little bit hotter there now. But I think we've been in the lambasting stage now for quite a while. And it's the people in power, the experts, that are telling you, no, this is what you must do. And if you disagree with me, you're racist, or you're sexist, or you hate America, or you want grandma to die. It's character assassination. All the time it's character assassination. They won't fight you on the facts. You look at Dr. Fauci anytime he gets up there, and Ron Paul, he backs him against the wall. He says, what an idiot. Okay, but you didn't refute anything that I said. You just called me a name. So to anyone watching, that's telling. That's a big deal. He doesn't have a leg to stand on. The Democratic debates for president a couple years ago, and Tulsi Gabbard yelled at Kamala Harris, said, you put so many people in jail and you don't care. And you kept doing it, and it's done more to hurt the black community than Donald Trump has ever thought about doing. And Kamala Harris sat there and she bowed her head and she took it. And she didn't say a word afterwards because it was all true. And what do I say to that? So the emperor has no clothes, but how is anyone going to know that unless someone points it out? If everyone's going along with it, that's the point of the story, right? Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Your robes are so silky and wonderful. And the kid's like, he doesn't have any clothes on. And then everybody says, oh, okay, yeah, I guess he doesn't. So you got to be the one screaming, no clothes, they're naked. Look at, and they don't even look good. So, yeah, stop following them. So, I was talking about King Andrew leaving and Kathy coming back, to fill in his place. And Janine says, the bad news is that now you have God's emissary, Kathy Hochul. Yes, she does speak for the Lord. She has said so on multiple occasions. And she said that she needed people to go out and fight the COVID misinformation as her disciples. We literally have appeal to the highest authority, God. God wants you to fight COVID. And I talked to him and he told me this is how you're supposed to do it. And I also talked to all the heads of the churches, and they said that this was okay. I'm not making this up. She said this in a press conference. She said, I've spoken to all of the heads of the churches and they say there's no reason not to get this vaccine. Okay. Hot take here. But did you speak to the Satanists? What did they have to say about it? No, you didn't speak to every church. That's an extreme example. Obviously. My point is, A, it's irrelevant what organized heads of churches say about me getting vaccinated, because that is not who gets to say what the Lord thinks, right? And the second point is, you didn't even talk to all of them. How could you possibly have spoken to all of the religions? And it gets back to the separation of church and state. I'm supposed to have freedom from religion and freedom of religion. So if my religion isn't one of the big five ones that you talk to, what do you, I don't have a leader that you could talk to that said it was okay. So where's your argument for that? My argument for that is it doesn't matter, right? Because you're not one of the recognized five religions. And it's just another example of boxes. We make these neat little grids and we stuff everybody into them. And if you don't fit in the grid, you get stuffed under the grid? Yes, in most cases, you're out of luck. And there's no system there set up to help you because you're not in the system. You're literally outside of it. So you're SOL. And the way to fix this is to push back. You've got the ballot initiative out in California. I still haven't seen story about the ballot initiative. I said that's kind of a cool idea. I already knew that we don't have recall elections here in New York because you get the emperor and the emperor stays. You don't recall him. So I knew California had recall elections, but I didn't know what the story was for ballot initiatives here in New York. And I'll get a little bit more into my discovery after the break. It is WYSL, a free solution. Back after the break with your comments. And if you want to call me, give me a call. 585-346-3000.
Celebrating 35 years.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies out there. The breeze will settle down, but turning much.
No problem. That's one of the things I love about you. By the way, when I'm going to play a clip, I'm always going to play it over the music as we come back, so you can wait until the clip is done before you start talking.
And then on Friday,
I had you potted down, so you actually didn't go over the clip, at least not on my end here.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Dear Dr. Sussman.
Dear Dr. Sussman, I just wanted to write to all the wonderful people who work with Dr. Sussman and Dr. Pogel at the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Each person in the office made me feel my smile.
Not only am I completely happy with my smile, but I feel you've been there for me with all my dentistry.
I've had several dentists in my life, but never a dentist of your caliber. You have state-of-the-art.
You keep current in your field as evidenced by your numerous diplomas and certificates, and your entire staff is really the cream of the crop.
I'm thrilled with the outcome of your skills and artistry. It's made such a difference in my life.
Dr. Sussman, Dr. Pogel, and the entire staff at the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry take great pride in providing not only advanced dental care, but extraordinary cosmetic dentistry. They love what they do and have a partnership with their patients toward long-term dental health.
For a bright, confident, beautiful smile.
Thank you, Dr. Sussman.
Thank you, Dr. Pogel.
Thank you.
Change your life, change your smile.
For more information, call the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry at 22 Smile or visit 22-smile.com.
Forget the fluff and silly stuff. Get the facts right now. Only on News 1040 AM.
Your family is growing, and it's time for a new home. Why buy a used house with someone else's style when you can afford a new Faber home built to suit your taste and your needs? Start fresh, build new with Faber. Faber Homes can customize your home to meet your wishes and dreams. Faber Homes is now building in 6 locations. Visit the Faber Homes website at faberhomes.com and find the plan of your dreams or a quick deliver home. Give Faber Homes a call today at 247-4800 or visit faberhomes.com for our current incentives. Faber Homes, great price.
Only Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com, the official Mount Worstmore line of merchandise. Top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who's front and center up on that mountain, and we think you'll recognize the other three. Mount Worstmore items make perfect gifts. They're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Mount Worstmore, locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
Looking for something meaningful to do? As a Camp Good Days volunteer, you'll work with children and adults who will inspire you. Just listen to what one volunteer says about her experience.
It's unlike any other thing that I've ever experienced in my life. I won the lottery 10 times fold. My husband and I plan all year on what we're going to do for these kids.
Learn more about many volunteer opportunities at Camp Good Days and special times on the web at campgooddays.org.
It's Turnbull tune-up time for the colder weather. Ensure safe operation of your heating system. Increase energy efficiency. Help your system live longer. Let the professionally trained technicians at Turnbull perform a thorough 13-point precision tune-up on your home comfort heating system. Call now for the next available appointment, 1-800-330-2005. Or in Avon, call 226-6180. Protect your heating system against breakdowns. Save on energy. Don't get caught cold. Get comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
At Tom Wall's, we've been making small batch root beer in each of
Last
our
spot.
restaurants since 1955. I'm Carly. I work at the Canandaigua location. You know, somewhere in the world, the best root beer is made. And maybe, just maybe, it's Tom Wall's.
Tom Walls. A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution here on WYSL Rochester, WACK Newark. My name is Craig Miles in for Kevin Wilson. 585-346-3000 if you want to give me a call and tell me you think what I'm talking about is great, or tell me you don't know what you're talking about, Craig. Either way, we can have a discussion about it. Thank you so much for joining me. You can also comment on Facebook and YouTube and get into the discussion there. We got some good discussions going on. Missy comments, the left is clinging to COVID misinformation. If they deem you to be spreading misinformation, you're vilified. And they actually got into this on the Joe Rogan interview with Dr. Malone, the one that triggered the whole big attack against Joe Rogan. There is some organization somewhere, I don't know the name. You'd have to listen to the 3-hour Joe Rogan interview to go and dig it out of there. They create the guidelines for how you are allowed to report on these things. I think it's in medical journals. Again, I'm not entirely sure. But essentially, the rule is you cannot say anything that will create vaccine hesitancy. So anything that you say that would create vaccine hesitancy is misinformation, according to these folks. Whether it's true or otherwise, it doesn't matter. It's still promoting misinformation, or it's still promoting vaccine hesitancy, so therefore it is not true. And we just learned that the CDC has not been quite as forthright as they could have with booster numbers as well as case numbers. They didn't release it, they said, because they didn't want the, they didn't want the data to be misinterpreted. They thought perhaps it could be misinterpreted. Your job is to report data. It's not to decide how to report it, not to decide what Americans are ready to hear. Fauci said that. He said, I said you didn't have to wear masks because I didn't think we were ready. You weren't ready to hear it. I said that you only needed 65% herd immunity because I didn't think you would, go for 80 or 90. I didn't think you would accept that. So I told you 65. And then I said, well, actually, no. So again, it's not about the facts. It's not about information. It's about the control of the information. It's about how do I spread it? How do I spin it? News. We talked about that. Never, ever without spin. No matter where it's coming from, even here, even from A Free Solution, there is a spin. It is decidedly libertarian. It is decidedly against government, quote unquote, solutions. And that's okay because we're open about that. We'll say that. Where it gets to be muddy is when people tell you that they're there giving you the fair and balanced news, or this is the only opinion that matters news, or Trump is evil no matter what he does news. They're not selling themselves as what they actually are. So it's very important to be aware of where the message is coming from. And that is why people are not always forthright with that. So I started to tell a little bit of a story before the last break about I heard about this ballot initiative in California and how you are allowed as the citizens of California to band together and get a petition and have a vote on these ballot initiatives. I don't know any more than that. I don't know the details. I don't know if it could be on anything. Like, can we make pepperoni the state deli meat? Maybe you could have one for that. I don't know how silly they let you get with that stuff. But politicians do that all the time anyway. They designate this highway the official whatever of whatever. So again, I'm not big on the particulars here. But the point is, in California, there is a mechanism for you, if you don't like things, to band enough people together to change those things. In New York, not necessarily the case. And we see this with the recall election.
Tim O'Connor.
Newsom tried to get a recall, or they tried to recall him, and he was not, because California liberals are a force to be reckoned with. In New York State, we don't even have that option. We don't have recall elections here. So when I heard about this ballot initiative, I said, I wonder if we have a ballot initiative here where people could do the same thing. And I went 4 pages deep in Google, and I still didn't find anything. All I saw was everything about the propositions from the last election. I don't know if that's on purpose. I know that Google does show you things that they want you to see. Did someone in New York say, hey, it'd be really nice if you didn't show people how to change the laws on their own? I don't know. Do we not have a mechanism? Maybe Tim O'Connor knows. He's called in to speak with me. What are your thoughts, Tim?
Well, I think that you can get ballot initiatives, but you have to kind of go through your assembly person or your senator. I don't think that they're out there for us to just write up, hand out petitions, and spread them all over the world. Like, it doesn't work like that for us in New York. That's my understanding.
Yeah, I would suspect that as well, because that's how we do it in New York. We don't do anything with this is the Empire State. That's not a mistake. Yeah. So I'm not at all surprised that you would have to go through your local representative. And I'll tell you a quick story about a personal encounter. If you follow Larry Sharp at all, besides On a Free Solution, if you followed his campaign, one of his big things was eminent domain was theft. And that comes into play here in Utica, where I am, with no hospital downtown. They fought and fought and fought to try to keep the state from taking 40 businesses and flattening them to build a hospital in downtown Utica. We didn't win, unfortunately. But as it was all going down, one of the assemblymen in the area, I won't say who, Larry was speaking at a coffee shop, and the guy was there. He came up and he says, yeah, are you in my district? I said, I don't know. Because at the time I didn't know. He says, well, it covers here and here and here. I said, yeah, probably. Well, if you ever need anything, just tell me, let me know. I said, okay. And then 5-10 minutes later, the conversation turns to the hospital. He said, oh, that's kind of a done deal. You can't really do much about that. So I said, interesting. You just said if I had any concerns. And then you said, I don't care. It's a done deal. So, of course, they put an assemblyman in your way and that you can't do this. Have you had any similar experiences, Tim?
Okay, so I like my assemblyman, and I talk about him pretty regularly. His name's John Salka. I don't know if that's the same guy as you met, but he's pretty hard to offer representation. As flawed and as imperfect as representation is in New York State, right? Isn't that one of the issues? They've tied their own hands by giving away power to everybody. autocracy, if you will.
Yeah, it's bureaucracy, it's autocracy. It's another layer of obfuscation between me and what I want. And the thing is, it works really well in one direction. They can make things move really fast when they want to. And then, well, all of a sudden we got all these barriers when you want to get anything done.
That is so correct. Hey, you brought up a subject earlier that I wanna pick your brain about.
Yeah.
When we get into this infighting in the Libertarian Party, one of the things I try to steer people towards is that, do we need to be perfect libertarians, or can we have conversations with people that may help them understand why we're fighting the power of the state? And the other issue is this: isn't politics just basically a popularity contest? Shouldn't we try to be more popular and likable instead of lecturing to people outside of our party?
Yes, this is kind of my point. So another thing in that, and thank you for coming back to that. One of the things that I noticed while listening to this episode was of the Tom's Wood Show. They said there was a lot of people screaming and yelling, but there wasn't really anyone doing anything. And then this ballot initiative came along, and all of a sudden we had people from the left, we had people from the right, everyone coalesced around this. And they said, this is the answer. I didn't know what to do, but now I see this and I know it's the answer. So that, yes, you need to have solutions. You need to have actions that you can take. Because there's a lot of people out there with a lot of anger that want to make changes, but they don't know how to do it. So you've got to hope that your initiative, that your thing becomes popular enough where everyone sees it and says, yes, that's it. That's the thing. That's what I've been looking for. And we try to do it backwards, I think, in the Libertarian Party. For people who understand that central planning doesn't work, we spend a lot of time, well, the party this, the party that. No, all of that's irrelevant.
I hear you. Let me jump in for a second too. Like, what if our ballot initiative, let's say mine and you, we come together, we get a ballot initiative out there, and it's to fight mandates. What I'm afraid of in New York State, Craig, to be honest with you, is if we don't get a better understanding of popularity, is that our ballot initiative will lose, and then the governor will be granted this indefinite emergency power kind of thing. Does that concern you?
Yeah, of course it does. You saw it with Gavin Newsom. They said, this guy sucks. Let's get him out of there. And then they said, oh, I guess he doesn't suck that bad. Let's keep him in. And then, of course, that's going to embolden him because now I've won another battle. Now I've got a mandate. And you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. It's really difficult to fight these things.
Well, listen, buddy, you are doing a great job. I enjoy your show. I'm having Rich Pertel on tomorrow, so I hope people will check that out. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the call. And yeah, tune in to Tim O'Connor tomorrow and Rich Pertel. Going to be a good show. Rich, I think, is a big zoning guy, if I remember correctly. So maybe some discussions about how to keep the government out of your backyard. That would be good. It is WYSL, a free solution, also on WACK Newark. Back after the break with some solutions to all of the issues that we see with the government.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Dear Dr. Sussman.
Dear Dr. Sussman, I just wanted to write to all the wonderful people who work with Dr. Sussman and Dr. Pogel at the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Each person in the office made me feel my smile.
Not only am I
wasn't
completely happy with my smile, but I feel you've been there for me with all my dentistry
I've had
needs.
several dentists in my life, but never a dentist of your caliber. You have state-of-the-art
You keep
dental
current in your field as evidenced by your numerous diplomas and certificates, and your entire staff is really the
I'm
cream of the
thrilled with the outcome of your skills and artistry. It's made such a difference in my life.
Dr. Sussman, Dr. Pogel, and the entire staff at the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry take great pride in providing not only advanced dental care, but extraordinary cosmetic dentistry. They love what they do and have a partnership with their patients toward long-term dental health.
For a bright, confident, beautiful smile.
Thank you, Dr. Sussman.
Thank you, Dr. Pogel.
Thank you.
Change your life, change your smile.
For more information, call the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry at 22 Smile or visit 22-smile.com.
WYSL.
The WYSL store is now open, and your car's crying for an official Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God, liberty, and the Constitution. Here are just a few available right now. Shut up, Fauci. Kathy Hokum. No more masking. Open the freaking schools. Scam alert January 6th. No vax mandates. God, please help us. Close the Mexican border. Save America. Stop voting for Democrats. Support the Second Amendment. And your mask doesn't protect squat. But there's more. These are standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WYSL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover you know. Be sure to check out the exclusive WYSL Mount Worstmore shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting our 4 worst presidents. Guess who's front and center? Be free, make a statement. Shop the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
A free solution.
That's right. We are back with a free solution on WYSL, WACK in Newark, coming to the end of the show. And I'm glad that Tim brought up what he had to bring up in the last segment, which was, you know, what do we do? And you have to be there. You have to be there for when people jump ship, because the ship is going to sink. I said earlier, it's going forward, and the left and the right kind of, tickle it in one direction or the other. It's always going down. So it's always going forward and it's always going down. So when you are trying not to exist on the ship, you got to be in the lifeboats outside of it, waiting for all those people that are jumping ship. And you got to build a big, beautiful lifeboat. That's what Trump would call it. The biggest, beautifulest lifeboat, so that people can jump onto it, right? When they jump off of the ship. And it's smaller, but it's also going to save your life. Okay, it doesn't have a swimming pool. It doesn't have, a 24-hour buffet with all you can drink martinis. I'm not really concerned about that, though, when the ship is sinking. So all these great things that the government claims to be doing for us, if the ship is going down, why am I so concerned about all these bells and whistles you're selling me?
Butch, Homestead, Florida.
There is a caller right now that I want to get to. He's down in Florida, which means he's a little bit freer than we are here in New York. I believe his name is Butch.
Hey, it's Butch.
Hi, Butch.
Homestead, Florida.
How you doing? I'm watching your show on a video game website.
You're watching it on Twitch?
Yeah, the video game website. I watch them play video games, but I'm watching you on the politics now, and I love your show and freedom, talking about freedom and everything, and it's important for it to be freedom. Obviously, I think you got a lot of smart points on that about what it means to be the importance of freedom and how we don't necessarily have it. But what do you mean on a ship? We got a lot of ships and boats on here in Florida, and I don't understand the part about a boat.
Yeah, so if you tuned in after I talked about that, the beginning of the show, I was talking about the ship and how it goes in one direction. That ship being the government or society, whatever you want to call it. On the left, they push one way, and the right, they push the other way. But the deal with ships is it takes a long time to course correct. So if I rudder left or I rudder right, it takes a while for the ship to react. But by that time, it's 4 years or 8 years or whatever. And now someone else is in power and they direct it back the other way. And the trend is forward, which means less freedom for you and more good stuff for the people that are in power.
Did you mute me, or do you still hear what I'm saying? Because you just seem to not care what I say. You just keep it talking.
Actually, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying, so a ship is, but we're not on a ship. But the ship is on a
I mute him when you're talking.
Yeah, the ship is a metaphor. The ship is a metaphor for society, for government.
But the part of you said the rudder goes to the left and the rudder goes to the left and right, and it takes so much time on a course correct. That part's not a metaphor, right? That's true.
That is the truth of a ship. And when the ship is metaphorical, then yes, that is the truth of the government as well. You go left or you go right, but the ship is so big that it really only keeps going forward, because whatever the left or the right do, they're still trying to do forward things and government things. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
The government doesn't have a rudders, though.
Yeah, it sure does. The government has the parties. The government has you. You are the rudder. You are the change. That's what they tell you. Also, you have the president, you have Congress, you have your representatives. They're what steer the direction of the government.
I'm a rudder?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh God. Okay. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do on as a rudder though, because I've never been on a ship before, even though I live in Florida. Your beard is very long. I appreciate that very much. It says on the flag 7-6. What does that mean? Is it math like QAnon? 7 minus 6 equals 1. 1 is how many presidents is on the deep state?
No, it's actually 1776, the founding of the nation.
That's when we were born.
Yep.
Birthday of a nation. If it was a Butch flag, it'd say November 6th, because that's the day I was born on. Thank you for all you do on a freedom, and I appreciate it. And I'll try to do a better job as a rudder.
Yes, keep steering that boat, and tell all your friends to be the rudders too.
I don't know what the boat thing. I'm really confused on the boat thing. Okay, bye.
Alrighty, bye. All right, I'm sorry, Bush. But essentially, the government is a big ship, and we are the rudder. Whether we are able to affect that ship or not, we have to keep trying, and we have to keep steering. Maybe you don't like the ship. Maybe you like a car better. So if the government is the car, if society is the car, we steer it left, we steer it right, and we have the power. And the issue why I chose the boat metaphor is because they are so big and they are so cumbersome, and it's very hard to direct them delicately. And that is the problem with the government. There is no delicacy. There's no delicate touch that sways the government. You have to have a
2 minutes.
You have to have a lot of people get together and try to affect change. And that's what you're seeing in LA with this ballot initiative. That's what you're seeing up in Canada with the truckers getting together. It's all people saying we are not going to take this. We don't like the direction that we're going. And ultimately, you have to recognize that we do control what you do. Because if we don't like it well enough, maybe you aren't in charge anymore. And it's a two-way street. The people in charge, they recognize that. They say, ooh, we pushed it a little too far this time. Maybe we better back off. Maybe we better not do so much of this. And that's the best that we can hope for, honestly, is to get their attention. But you'll never get their attention if you don't speak up, if you don't fight, if you don't find ways. And if you aren't the one with a cool idea, always be looking for the cool ideas, because you never know whose lifeboat you might be able to jump on. Always be looking, always be searching. There are all sorts of ways out there, all sorts of people doing great work. So always be looking for the next new thing, the next new answer, the next way to fix the system. And maybe we can all collaborate, and maybe we can get that ship moving. We're going to get that metaphor so that Bruce down there in Florida can hop on the ship with us or paddle one of the lifeboats with us. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the show today. I will be taking a break for a week now. You had me for 2 days, but we have Tim O'Connor and Rich Pertel on tomorrow. We've also got Kevin Wilson. Larry Sharp will be back next week as well. So it's a great lineup. And we're going to keep talking solutions here on Free Solution because that's what it's all about ultimately. That's how we fix things. That's how we do things. We don't need somebody to direct us. We don't need somebody to tell us this is what you need to do.
We're passionate about making a difference in the lives
All
of
right, you
children and
overtalk.
young
When you hear the
adults
music,
with
it's
developmental
30 seconds. You
disabilities
need to
and
be out
complex medical needs.
within 20.
Mary Cariola Center is looking for caring individuals to join our school,
Oh, okay.
including teachers, teachers' assistants, teacher
All right,
aides, and
have
more.
a good week.
Enjoy
We'll talk to you
school
next
hours,
Wednesday.
competitive wages, and great benefits. Start your career with the Mary Cariola Center today. Apply at marycariola.org and click on employment.
True financial health requires a holistic approach, a hallmark of Whitney & Company since its founding in 1975. Investment management.
Yeah, you know what? It's because I mute this so you don't get a double feed coming back of yourself. But if it helps, I can unmute this like at the end of the show. But otherwise, you might want to check with Kevin however you have it interfaced with the program. But, you know.
6200, visit WhitneyandCompany.com.
Celebrating 35
All right, no
years.
problem. You take care. Have a good day.
AM 1040 Avalon Rochester, FM 92.1 W221CL Rochester, FM 95.5 W238DE Spencerport, and WYSL1040.com everywhere.